How much time do I have?
Months, at best.
I still have a lot of work that needs to be done.
It was our desire to make a film that feels more like the early Saw movies.
This, in our mind, is really Saw 2. This movie happens weeks after the end of Saw 1.
I help people overcome inner obstacles.
It needed to look like the early Saw movie.
They were shot on 35. They were scuzzy and gritty. There's arsenical greens and ochre yellows.
We're working with a cinematographer here who has just done a fabulous job.
One of the great challenges of this project was really putting together an excellent trap team. And I feel like we have this amazing team. And I think that the fans are going to be happy. No! All the people that really love Saw.
I want to play a game. My job is to bring humanity to John Kramer. The traps I leave to the people who are disturbed enough to come up with some of these things.
And we go back to what I think the audience most enjoys about John Kramer's character.
I wage war. I wage war against mediocrity.
What struck me was the relationship between John and Amanda. I think that's some of the best passages or scenes.
Everyone deserves a chance. You should know that more than anyone.
It's super fun to be able to come all the way back to the beginning.
We really did this movie for the fans.
The story's compelling, and the Saw fans, next level.
We really tried to pay them back for the loyalty and the fans that have been there since Saw 1. And that's why there's the Easter eggs, there's throwbacks to other. We just really tried to say, you've asked for this movie, we're making this for you.
Kramer, is that you? I've told you what you want to know. I fucking told you who you're looking for. Ayuda! No. Kramer, ábreme, cabrón.
One of the things that intrigued me about this story is that we go back to what I think the audience most enjoys about John Kramer's character, which is that he's philosophical and has a strong moral compass, but also lives in total contradiction to what you would think that compass would be. We know from Saw 2 that he really only became the Jigsaw after he was diagnosed with cancer and lost his son and all that sort of thing. We know that he's pretty much infallible, and he's often said, if you can anticipate the human mind, it leaves nothing to chance. So we've seen a kind of very rigid formulation of that notion of his character in all the Saw movies. What I really liked about this one is that we go deep in all those things, but we also do things that I think are very unexpected.
You promised dying people. Dying people! That you could save their lives. John Kramer, he has been a civil engineer and an architect for almost 40 years. And what interests me about him is that he is interested in many, many, many things. From a point of view of philosophy, theology, he's extremely well-read, very intelligent, and very committed, unlike many of us who look around us and complain about the world or some aspect of the world but do nothing. He does something. Whether you agree with what he does or not is another subject entirely. It's my job to flush him out, to be on his side, and to draw audiences in to the thought process. You have time? Please
sit down for just a minute?
Sure.
I think Tobin was really impressed by how much this story truly immerses itself in his character, in his emotional journey. And, you know, it's almost as though the creators realized that it was a big mistake to make a Saw film with no John Kramer and no Tobin in it whatsoever. And so this is almost like a counter reaction to that by let's go all in with Tobin. And so, of course, as an actor, he saw this, I'm sure, as kind of his life's great work. Artistically speaking, I mean, this is his biggest movie by far. So that had to really impress him and intrigue him. He's always sort of the gatekeeper of being true to this kind of enigma that is the John Kramer character, that he doesn't get revenge, he doesn't kill, even though it kind of looks like he does, but still, we don't talk in those terms. They're not traps, they're tests. They're, you know, disciples and subjects and this sort of thing. So he always makes sure that we're very careful about those aspects of the story. He really likes John's philosophical side and his use of metaphor, which I think we did a good job with in this film.
Amanda.
It's hard for Amanda because she loves John so much, and to see him hurt like that and vulnerable like that, there's a battle cry in there, but at the same time, you can't forsake that philosophy, you know, that like every human being deserves a chance. And he's in the business of saving souls. And she's in that business enough, you know, he really does plan on her continuing this work of his. And he wouldn't give that to her if he didn't think she could do it or that she believed in it. And so that is bigger than the anger until at a certain point, you know, then you see like there's no redemption for several characters. But still, everybody deserves a chance. And that's how he rolls.
Oh, no!
The script for Saw X was originally written to take place in Prague, with the idea being that we would shoot in Bulgaria. And for reasons not entirely creative, it was suggested that we go to Mexico. And as soon as I heard that, I said, money aside, I think that would be the very best place we could possibly shoot and set this story, because it's so unexpected and there's so much sort of strange history to Mexico City with the Aztecs and Cortez and all that, and just the fact that it is such a crazy place. I really thought not only do we shoot there, but we set it there, and we say that this is where we're setting it. And you know, I think it was a fantastic choice, and I can't even imagine any other version of this story with non-Mexican actors and setting.
What is it?
I don't know what the fuck all of these things are. Medical supplies, I think, and there's a fucking bone cutter.
The crane you're on?
I don't care what the fucking thing is called, Cecilia!
I wanted these traps to work more mechanically in real life than we've ever done before. We've had to frankly use a lot of editing trickery and digital visual effects in order to overcome the shortcomings that we had on production. So for this one, I'm like, let's really make what we're gonna shoot and make it work on screen. So our production designer, Anthony Stabley, who is one of the most enthusiastic people I've ever met in my life, he absolutely was for that, and he sought out a team among the crew members in Mexico City that could really pull it off. And That's not to say that everything worked perfectly, because it didn't, and as is often the case, there are a lot of wires and people hidden in things that are operating things. Saw 6, the first one that I directed, was the last one to be shot on 35mm film, and I'm really glad that it was, even though it's hard to shoot on film. It's a lot more stressful than digital, but there is great value in the texture that you get from film. And once we did Saw 3D, which was shot at 2K res on a digital camera, we started to lose something, and then the subsequent Saw films were also digital, and maybe there was a little bit of filmish grain added afterward, but frankly not a lot in those films. When I met Nick Matthews, the cinematographer and first camera operator for this movie, we both agreed that there was something lost after Saw 6, and that we wanted to bring it back. And even though we shot on digital, we lit it in a way that we thought emulated the look of the earlier films, and also we dirtied it up a bit in post-production.
Help me, please, help me, please.
Believe it or not, I just did. You're next.
He's a monster. He's gonna kill you the same way he's gonna kill all of us, please.
You don't know John, and if you want any more of my help, keep your mouth shut about that.
Live or die, the choice is yours.